On the spot news media, we got the latest news. We don't care about the views, we just representing right. Put local news internationally every night. On the spot, wave that Jamaican flag from left to right. Let's get it right, y'all know the type. We ain't dealing with the hype, we make it take flight.
Yeah, man, my viewers and subscribers, what Guan, a blessed and wonderful Thursday evening to each and every person out there tuning into On The Spot News Media. Now, my peeps, I don't know how we do it over on this side. So we have a few stories to share with you, the regular members of Chan Public and also members of the diaspora. So please like the video, share the video, watch the entire vlog so you can get a full understanding and a better appreciation of everything we're going in a Jamaica. So watch this now, my peeps. Now the evening we're going to kick it off with an international story where this 31-year-old Jamaican-born woman was given life in prison without the eligibility of parole after a jury found her guilty of first-degree murder in a fatal July 2022 knifing of a 23-year-old female identified as Kayla Hudson, said to be her perceived romantic rival. It took place at the victim's apartment in Tamarack in Florida. Now, during the trial, the prosecutors argued that the Jamaican national, that's Sakiyna Thompson, traveled from New York to Florida with the explicit aim of confronting her rival. It is stated that she believed that the other female was dating her ex-boyfriend. Now, after the female blocked her on social media and did everything that she could have done within her power to stay clear of the Jamaican national, she jumped on a plane, guard the woman's yard, go confront the woman. Now, in her defense, that's the Jamaican national, she admitted that she knifed up the now deceased female, but claimed that her act was in self-defense. She testified that the now deceased female hit her and cut her abdomen with a piece of glass, prompting her to react. She also stated that she was 2 months pregnant at the time and she was just acting to protect herself and her unborn child. Well, the jury say right now, we don't believe that. The fact that you jump on a plane left from where you they gone all the way to the woman's apartment to go attack her has to be premeditated. Now we're going to hear from CBS 6 News as they report from the courts as the judge handing down her sentence. Now listen.
Through tears, loved ones spoke out in court about their pain and anger over the killing of 23-year-old Kayla Hodgson in her Tamarack home. Dozens of them packed the courtroom Monday wearing bright pink and black shirts with Kayla's photo and messages of the justice they waited 3 years for.
For the rest of your existence, you will have to look in the mirror every day, regret your decisions, and think about how foolish you are. I hope all your nights are filled with regret and loneliness.
A judge sentenced 31-year-old Sakiyna Thompson to life in prison for the murder. A jury found her guilty in October. 10 of Kayla Hodgson's friends and family stood firm as they faced her killer for the last time.
What she's done was very wicked and evil, and a person like her, it's important that they never see the light of day again.
Evidence showed Thompson confronted Hodgson in her apartment home in July of 2022 at 5 o'clock in the morning and then stabbed her to death. Thompson testified during trial that it was self-defense because she was pregnant at the time, but the jury didn't believe her.
Or how about the audacity of you to come up on this stand and waste taxpayer dollars and tell them a crock of garbage to everyone in the courtroom about your blackout reasoning?
Prosecutors say Thompson killed Kayla because Kayla was dating her boyfriend. That jealousy prompted her to fly from New York to South Florida to carry out the murder.
And everyone will get to also see the darkness that this person you're sentencing and her failed attempts to cover it with false claims and her blatant lack of remorse.
I'm just glad that we got the justice that we was looking for and that she will never be able to do this to another family again.
Now the next thing that we're going to talk about, my peeps, is coming out of a place known as Buffalo in the United States of America, where this Jamaican national, presently on your screen, has made the worst of the worst list by ICE. So ICE in Buffalo arrested the Jamaican national, identified as Everton Maxwell Hibbert, a 60-year-old man said to be a violent criminal alien from Jamaica. So on the 13th of November, he has been convicted of murder and of criminal possession of a weapon in Rochester, in New York. He has since been sentenced to 20 years to life in prison. Boy, may I tell you, my peeps, the thing rough, but anyway, make we continue. Now the two criminal element them, where they knock it and clap it on the two police them and take them life, has since been officially charged by the police. So the Major Investigation Division has charged 20-year-old Junior Brown of a Seaward Drive address in Kingston 11 and Marcarius Monroe, otherwise known as Mackie, said to be of a Ricketts Crescent address in connection with the November 13th fatal knockings and clappings of Constables Charles Stewart and Jamari Garden along Waltham Park Road in St. Andrew. Now both criminal elements face 2 counts of murder, conspiracy to commit murder, possession of a prohibited weapon and ammunition, and using a firearm to commit a felony. Eyewitnesses identified the 2 criminal elements in multiple identification parades. So for those who may have forgotten, the 2 police constables was cut down in a hail of bullets by the armed criminal elements whilst discussing the parking of a stolen motor vehicle near their business establishment, which escalated, of course, into the knockings and clappings of both policemen. The criminal elements then fled the area. They have said to be linked to the Dust City gang and a car stealing ring in that particular area. They fled the scene, as I stated earlier, but later surrendered in fear of their lives. Boy, may I tell you, my peeps, the thing rough, the irony of it, you take life, but you surrender because you're in fear of your own Jaja God. Now the last thing that we're going to talk about, my peeps, we have a video for share with you from the Maroon chief, the brother known as Chief Currie. Now, when you remember what day when Andrew Holness go visit down there, that's the Prime Minister of Jamaica, the Right Honorable Dr. Andrew Holness go visit down there. And a little altercation go on between FEME security personnel and the security personnel of Olivia Babsy Grange, Minister Babsy Grange, and the Prime Minister's security. Now, to me, my peeps, it seems as if them people feel like, say, they are not to live within the confines of Jamaican rules and laws. It no go for them. That is how I perceive them behavior sometimes. Whilst I do understand the Maroon Treaty and all of that, but them feel like, say, them bigger and above and beyond the rules and laws that governs our great nation. But make we put that aside, because certain people might feel, say, me I speak from a personal standpoint, but that is what is shown to the general public sometimes in how they would have behaved in the past. But separate and apart from that, the Prime Minister go down there, go look upon the damages of the hurricane, decide, say, I'm going to give a helping hand, and told the chief that he will direct JDF personnel to come and assist in the rebuilding of their little township. Now the chief come out publicly and make the Prime Minister know, say, yo, I nobody want to help Farin, because him no want the government to militarize the Maroon, a compound town area. The fact that him use the term militarize, that is very suggestive. But anyways, I want to watch the video for yourself. Drop some comments in the comment section and make me get full feedback as it relates to what the Maroon chief is saying. Drop some really serious comments because I'm going to read through them. Because I really want to hear how the Jamaican people feel about it. But in my view still, kudos to you if you don't want the help. The much needed help that would have been given to you can go elsewhere to persons who really, really need it. In my view still, I just politics a play. Same way. But anyway, watch.
Ashe. Honorable Prime Minister, Dr. Andrew Holness, on behalf of the indigenous people of Akompong and the wider Maroon districts of Cockpit Country, I send sincere appreciation for your recent visit to our community and for the government of Jamaica's expression of support following the destruction caused by Hurricane Melissa. Your presence, accompanied by the several ministers of government, marked the first official visit of your administration to Akompong since my election in 2021, and it was warmly welcomed by our people. We remain grateful for the humanitarian gesture extended to the Akompong people and for your willingness to mobilize resources, particularly those of the JDF military, to assist with the recovery efforts. We also acknowledge your reference on international partners including Ethiopia, Ghana, and Rwanda, who have expressed readiness to assist in the island's rebuilding efforts. Honorable Prime Minister, following a deep, comprehensive internal review and a formal deliberation, the full Maroon Council has this time decided not to accept the offer on the militarization of the space during the recovery effort. The full Maroon Council instead has resolved to continue with the response, utilizing civilian resources from our adjoining communities and our partners, both locally and internationally, who have offered to the community their assistance in the recovery efforts. Instead, the Council would like to thank you for the offer on materials and would accept the offer on those materials and equipment necessary to assist in those recovery efforts. We want to ensure, Mr. Prime Minister, that harmony and inclusiveness of our Maroon human resources, of those here in Akompong and adjoining communities, are balanced to execute the infrastructural relief efforts across our Maroon communities. This methodology aligns with our laws and cultural way of life. This decision is based also on the following considerations. 1. The established reconstruction partnerships and resources Akompong has secured through international donations, through technical sponsorships, and volunteer engineering assistance sufficient to address the rebuilding and development needs arising from the hurricane. These partnerships, coordinated through the Akompong Development Foundation, reflect years of relationship building, and they provide to us a structured, culturally and aligned framework for reconstruction across the Maroon territory. The second consideration was the protection of community well-being and trauma sensitivities. As you would have recognized, our community was significantly devastated, and many of our elders, some of the women as well as children, have endured profound emotional trauma. In the aftermath, the introduction of military personnel carrying assault rifles, as we would have seen just the other day, even in a humanitarian capacity, could exacerbate and distress and cause additional distress among residents of the community. The Council believes that reconstruction conducted through civilian and community-based teams is the most appropriate path for maintaining emotional security and cultural stability at this time. This, I'm sure, you can understand, Mr. Prime Minister. Our treaty obligations and governance. The third consideration would be the treaty obligations and governance responsibilities a compound as a treaty recognized indigenous polity under the 1738 treaty bears the responsibility of in ensuring that the recovery operation within the territorial space are consistent with its laws, governance institutions, and cultural protocols. The Council has therefore determined that internal and partner-supported reconstruction efforts remain the most suitable avenue for the recovery from the damages that were sustained. This decision is not a rejection of cooperation, nor does it diminish the appreciation of the humanitarian intent behind your offer. We again thank you. But rather, it reflects a compound's capacity to manage its internal recovery efforts through established civilian channels and international collaborative efforts that have been ongoing since the impact of this storm. I again reiterate our commitment to engage in dialogue on areas where meaningful cooperation between the government of Jamaica and the accompanying Maroons can be maintained. We thank everyone for their continued support, particularly in matters related to the disaster readiness and recovery from the effects of Hurricane Melissa. The Maroons continue to show their resilience and share their support with the broader communities impacted by the storm. We respectfully emphasize that this disaster relief cannot be interpreted as altering or diminishing a compound's treaty-recognized autonomy. The historical and legal foundations of the 1738 treaty remain intact and continue to guide our interactions with the Jamaica state government. Honorable Prime Minister, we again express our sincere gratitude for your visit and your expression of solidarity during this difficult time. We remain committed to peaceful engagement, transparent dialogue, and long-term well-being of all communities within the cockpit country. May this period of national recovery represent an opportunity for renewed mutual respect and for collaborative efforts that honor both Jamaica's constitutional framework and a compound's treaty-based autonomy. Thank you.